How's it going, folks? Alongside TJ Calkins, Jay Sannon here with ATS, getting you ready for UFC Columbus. That's right, UFC on the road again, this time in the great state of Ohio. And TJ, I know Ohio near and dear to your heart. And I know you have quite a few plays on this card as well. So let's get right into it, sir. And we will start out with David Dvorak taking on Matisse Nikolao.
Yeah, so this is actually an awesome fight, and I don't know why it's so far down the card. These guys are really going to sort out the ranks, the winner, and they're going to put themselves in a high-profile fight next. These guys will want to combine 8 of 9 UFC fights, and I think this is going to be a great scrap. I understand why the line is tight, but I actually think the wrong fighter is favored. So we're going to see Dvorak do what he does. He's going to pressure. He's going to try and throw heavy. But he's running into a matchup here where that style is just not going to work out great for him. Nikolao is great with countering, and even more so, Dvorak is going to leave himself open for Nikolao to just duck under the strikes and take him down. And Nikolao is a better grappler too. I think he's going to be able to control on top. I think he's going to be able to take rounds with stiff counters and those takedowns. So the plus 115 on Nikolao for me is the best dog on the card.
TJ, next up, I want to get your thoughts on Bacare Dana taking on Chris Gutierrez. Dana, a minus 155 favorite in this fight. What say you on this one?
Yeah, Bacare is on a streak, man. He's finished his last 3 fights in the first round, all knockouts. The man's a great striker, and he's running into Gutierrez here, who, I mean, he's pretty good at everything, but he's not great at anything. The highlight to his game are the low leg kicks. And I think if he tries to throw them in volume like he always does, he's just going to open himself up even more for the boxing of Bacare to get to him. And whether that knocks him out, I think it will knock him out at some point, but there's just not a ton of value going to the ITD line. So we're just going to go with Bacare flat here at minus 155.
TJ, next up, Neil Magny, a minus 235 favorite. He takes on Max Griffin at 170 pounds. What do you think happens here?
I think Magny's in a great spot. When Magny gets that step up in competition, that's when he kind of wilts. He just doesn't get to the level to beat these great fighters. But every time he takes a step down, he's winning these fights, and he's gotten a lot of win purses against, fighters that just aren't quite there at his level. And this is another one of those. He's going to have a huge range advantage here on Griffin, and he's going to be just a little bit better everywhere. I don't think there's a spot where Griffin has a huge advantage other than he's just a little bit more powerful as a striker. And unless Griffin just gets some flash knockout here in the first couple minutes of the fight, I think Magny's just going to settle in, pick him apart with volume. He's going to be better in the clinch. He's going to be the better wrestler, and he's going to be the better grappler. And I'm more than happy to lay minus 235 on Magny.
Now, TJ, I want to get your thoughts on Latifi versus Olynyk. It's Latifi, a minus 185 favorite here.
Yeah, so Ilir Latifi, he's kind of frustrating to watch, and I think this is going to be a boring fight. Alexei Olynyk's an insane grappler. We know what kind of a submission AC is. He's got something like 36 submission wins in his career. But he has lost 5 of his last 7 fights. He's only got 1 submission in that point in time, and he's not going to be able to get this fight to the mat. If this fight goes to the mat, it'll be because Latifi took it down. He's the superior wrestler. I mean, across 2 divisions, 13 UFC fights, Latifi's never been taken down, and his opponents usually don't even bother to try. I mean, there's only been 7 attempts. So what I think we're going to see is, even though Latifi isn't a high volume by any means, he is the better striker. He's crisper, and he has a lot more power, especially with that overhand right if he starts landing that. And Olynyk will gas. We know that, especially if he tries to wrestle and fails. So I'm happy to lay minus 185 on Latifi, even though it is likely to be the most boring fight of the night.
And TJ, last but not least, I want to get your thoughts on the main event. You have Blaydes versus Daukaus here. Blaydes, a heavy favorite in this one. What say you?
Yeah, so we've kind of seen this a lot before. It's almost always the same with Blaydes. We know what he is. He's the best wrestler in the heavyweight division. He sometimes doesn't bring the greatest fight IQ on when to shoot takedowns, how often to shoot them, how early. But if he wants to take fighters down, he's going to take them down as long as he's got a gas behind him. I think we've seen him try to test out his striking against fighters before, and I mean, he's been starched twice by Ngannou and once by Lewis before he got the fight down. But generally speaking, once he gets the fight down, he tends to be in control. We're going to see again Daukaus as a quicker, better striker. And he is live for a knockout before his back hits the mat. And then he'll be live for a knockout again if his cardio is better than that of Blaydes. Now, I have no worries about Daukaus being on his back. He's a BJJ black belt. I don't know if he's going to be able to threaten submissions from his back, but it is an option. We haven't seen him on his back in the UFC. He's just winning fights by knockout or getting knocked out by Lewis. But all of his fights have been, I believe, 6 minutes or less. So we're going to see Daukaus with the better BJJ skill set, but Blaydes is a superior wrestler. So we're going to see multiple takedowns from Blaydes. But then if Daukaus can keep that cardio, he's the smaller fighter. I think he might have a chance to be fresher and actually lay it on later in the fight. So while I think Blaydes is more likely to win the fight at minus 380, I just don't really have interest there. If you really want to throw a value dart at this, Daukaus inside of this, the plus 380 is the better bet. But I just don't really want any part of betting this main event.
Understandable. TJ, thank you for your expertise on UFC Columbus coming this weekend. For more from TJ on these fights, go to ATS.io. You do not want to miss his full written previews of each bout. Until next time, TJ Calkins, Jay San, and saying see you next time. Good luck on all your UFC bets this weekend, ladies and gentlemen.